I've been in music since I was 8 years old. So for me, it's like getting in the car and going to work, doing whatever you do. The only difference is I do it for God. And if everybody does whatever they do for God, then it becomes a ministry and it becomes a joy.
Lord, send forth your Spirit and renew the face of the earth again. Lord, send forth your Spirit and renew the face of the earth. Great.
I got involved in music when I was 8, playing professionally when I was 10. Started with the country rock movement when I was about 15 or 16. And we put together a band called Mason Prophet. Did 5 records for Warner Brothers. And, had a chance to meet everybody I thought I wanted to be like. And they were all great people. I mean, good people, but very empty. So I started a religious search. I prayed, God, who are you? He, she, or an it? I don't care. I just want to know. And essentially, that prayer was answered in the person of Jesus. I didn't know how he did it, why he did it. I just knew that he loved me and he forgave me my sins. And at that point in my life, in 71, they were really kind of starting to stack up. So it was that was an epiphany for me. And so by 1976, I was involved in the Jesus movement, making Jesus music and recording. And when I became a Catholic and went to the record company and said, "Great news, guys, I've become a Catholic," they kind of went, "Oh, well, that's really exciting." So we ended up putting out one last record called The Lord's Supper. It was a Catholic Mass with 500 voices and an orchestra and a guitar. Not a rock and roll, not a Jesus rock type record. And they thought it'd flop, I thought it'd flop, and I moved into a hermitage and thought I would disappear. And it became the biggest record in Christian music that year. So it was a surprise. So the lesson there is that when you let go of your gifts and talents and let God take them, He can do far more with them than we can do with our own plans and agendas.
Jesus comes to heal us of that pain by taking it on Himself.
And I've run into the Maryknoll Fathers all over the place. And I did some books that were for secular companies with religious arms. And I wanted to do something that was an overt Catholic publisher that reached out from that base again, because I felt like I was, kind of losing touch with home. I've gone from the hermit mode to the Pauline mode. I'm pretty much living on the road. I used to do 50 appearances a year. I'm doing 120 now. So I spend the summer at the Hermitage and part of the winter. But the rest of the time, we're out in itinerant mission, doing parish missions, anywhere from 1 to 3 night ministries, and then helping build up local expressions of our community everywhere we go. We were the first community of our kind with canonical approval. And the key is integration. So we would integrate charismatic, contemplative, liturgical, spontaneous, contemplative base, and then reaching out in the new evangelization in everything we do. And the focus of it is really how you bring kind of a monastic, contemplative spirituality out into the secular world. How do you kind of enter into what Francis said? He says, "The world is my cloister, my body is my cell, and my soul is the hermit within."
Well, I'm part of a movement that in the last 5 years is being called the New Monasticism.
It's a movement of people that just want to get closer to God. They want to be able to pray, meditate on a daily basis. A lot of people are wanting to let go of anger, judgment, frustration that just comes from our secular world. And ironically, the hermit image works really well for people in the secular world because they're not living in daily community with other Christians. They're not in a monastery. But their hermit is inside.
I encourage you to embrace this, quote, new monasticism. To get involved. Join the Maryknoll affiliates. Join the domestic expression of our community. Become a Benedictine oblate. But get involved. Get involved. We live in a time when we need hope. Hope. And join together and bring the love of God.
think what he says in his music, but he also says in his talks, is that you really shouldn't emphasize the differences, but you should emphasize the commonalities and not emphasize that you're Catholic or Anglican or Presbyterian, but really we should all work toward being worshipers of God and being a community.
I think people who are looking for what Christianity is all about, what religion is all about, I think they'll find it in John's message.
Speaking is wonderful. I love to speak, and I hope I'm a fairly good speaker. But speaking just points the way to the door. Music is the doorway. But neither go through the doorway. That's for the individual to do on their own. And then you go into the place of just pure union with God that's beyond what we can comprehend with mind or emotions or senses. But once you go there, your mind is enlivened. It becomes clear. Your emotions become enthused, in God.
Silence your heart. Silence